Welcome to Never Too Late for Fitness Radio, bringing baby boomers proven strategies and innovative products for getting fit, staying fit, so you can live a longer, healthier, and happier life. Here's your host, best-selling author and fitness advocate, Phil Ferris.
This is Phil Ferris, and welcome to our show. Never Too Late for Fitness Radio provides answers and straight talk about fitness, nutrition, and healthy lifestyles for people over 50. During each show, we talk to real health and fitness experts solving real problems with proven solutions you can apply to your day-to-day life. Today, this show is about people that are over 40 that have acquired some weight around the middle and are finally committed to reclaiming their fitness. However, they may not know the best way to start. So if you know that you've got to get back in shape, but you're not sure you have the time, motivation, or the knowledge to succeed, this program's for you. My guest today is Clint Phillips, who was named one of the best personal trainers in America by Men's Journal and the National Fitness Hall of Fame. He is a recognized fitness expert who has been quoted in the Chicago Tribune, Sun-Times, Red Eye, Reader, Windy City Sports, Personal Fitness Professional, Daily Herald, Maximum Fitness, and more. Clint is also a fitness educator, having taught at Northwestern University, the University of Illinois at Chicago, DePaul, Grand Valley State, and other leading institutions. Thank you for being on the show today, Clint.
Well, thank you, Phil. I'm happy to be here. I love the theme of never too late for fitness, and I've certainly found that to be true in my own personal life and the life of a lot of my clients who are 50, 60, 70, even into their 90s.
Well, that's good. We never stop. Now, you've had a very impressive career, both the lifting and working out. And so maybe you could just tell us a little bit about your health and fitness journey and how that has kind of shaped your approach to working with your clients and helping them achieve their health and fitness goals.
Yeah, I suppose it's been kind of a mix of just trial and error and plus a lot of study and reading and taking classes and trying to stay current. I pretty much started out just liking sports. I was always into baseball, and then in school I did wrestling, cross country, and track. Then I started working out in the Army, later in the Air Force. And finally, after that, when I was at college, I was working out at a gym at the University of Illinois at Chicago, and I saw a sign on the wall, make big bucks as being a personal trainer. And I thought, what's a personal trainer? And I ended up getting in contact with the woman who was teaching the class. I think it was every Tuesday night from 6 to 9 for 6 weeks or something. And I signed up for the class. When I finished, she offered me a job as a personal trainer at University of Illinois there, and also in the Human Performance Lab, doing a lot of fitness assessments and testing. And I found out that I really liked it a lot. I enjoyed helping the people. And at first they were paying me $15 an hour. And I'm thinking, wow, I'm making big bucks as a personal trainer. But obviously, as I transitioned into owning my own business, and then later on, even having personal trainers that subcontract out underneath me, I found out that you can do pretty well for yourself in this industry. That a lot of folks kind of look at personal trainers, they're just muscle heads or, gym rats, but this is a real profession that you've got some really smart, really professional people working in, and I'm proud to be part of it.
Well, that's great. So you work with all different types of people, but what are the most common reasons that people seek you out and they say, okay, Clint, I want you to be my personal trainer? What are the issues that they're dealing with, and what are the goals they're trying to accomplish?
Well, most of the folks, I'm 56 years old. So right now, most of the folks that are going to want to work out with me are probably 40 and up. And also, no way around this that they can afford it. Most of them are at kind of the top of their field because they've worked really hard all their life, and maybe working really hard in their careers, they've kind of neglected their fitness. And so now they kind of wake up and they're 40 or 50 years old and they think, gosh, my coworker who was the same age as me just had a heart attack, and I'm kind of same weight and condition that he is. Maybe I want to be here for my kids and grandkids. Maybe I better do something about that. So usually just regular folks that want to lose weight, and sometimes we have to work around an injury or a medical problem. And I think one of the misconceptions is that personal trainers only work with people who are in super great shape and athletes. And honestly, only about one of maybe 50 of the people who come to me say, I want to be, some type of athlete. Although many of them I kind of turn into athletes in a roundabout way, where they may be working out and getting some good results, and I'll say kind of offhand, you might think about doing a 5K one day. And usually I get a look like I'm crazy. But, a few weeks down the road, maybe they've let that idea sort of marinate in their head, and they think, maybe I'll tell them you could do a walk run, I'll do it with you. We'll have you wear a heart rate monitor and make sure that you stay under so many beats per minute. And I've had people end up doing even Ironman triathlons, and we're doing a week from Sunday the Hustle Up to Hancock. There's a team of 12 of us that are going up there, and I've done this several times in the past, and usually it's been with an overweight client that's his or her goal just to make it to the top. They don't care how long it takes, and I usually just stick with them, like, come on, you can keep doing it. Keep going. This year is going to be a little different because I'm going with a group of ex-Navy SEALs and Ironman triathletes, so I got a feeling I might be Johnny in the back this time, but we'll see. It's going to be fun either way.
How many flights is it, and how long does it usually take people?
Well, it's 94 floors, and when I've gone in the past with people who are, a little overweight, the slowest anyone has ever gotten up there is about a half an hour.
Okay.
I'd like to think, hopefully I can do it in under 20 minutes, but we'll find out. We've also done the presidential towers stair climb with some of my clients. And now that is 45 stories, but there's 4 buildings. So you can do 1, 2, 3, or 4. And I had a guy who, at the top of the first one, he said, okay, I think I'm done. I'm like, come on, Earl, let's just do one more. And I finally talked him into it, and he did the second one. I'm like, oh, we're so close. Just try one more. And I actually got him to do all 180 floors. And I think that's something that's going to live with him for the rest of his life. And I was happy to be part of that.
Wow, that's super. Because those are I have friends that have been doing it for years. I haven't done it, but it's always kind of a fun challenge for them.
There's a thing about doing stairs where people think if they climb 3, 4, 5 stories, it just keeps getting worse and worse and worse. And they think it's going to keep getting worse for all 94 stories. Well, it doesn't. What the physiology, what's going on here is, as soon as you take those first few steps, your leg muscles have an immediate need for more blood and oxygen, but your heart and lung haven't responded yet. So if you stick with it and kind of go slow for the first, 5 to 10 floors, then your heart rate kind of catches up and your breathing catches up, and then you can get into kind of an equilibrium where you can I can keep this steady pace as long as I don't push it too hard.
Okay, and that's kind of good point for most people is know your body and and know how much you can push yourself. And once you kind of get a rhythm, then whether it be walking, running, going stairs, that's getting in tune with the body. Now, most people that are in their 40s and 50s and they're starting up again, that they've failed several times to lose weight and get fit. And some people just give it up completely. And so then now they're coming back and say, okay, give it one more try. I'm going to try Clint. How do you help them get back on track and stay committed to achieving their goals rather than adding another failure to their resume?
Yeah, we always start with an assessment of where they are. We do some measurements, some weighing, some body fat, some inches measurements, some fitness measurements, maybe push-ups, maybe have them walk on a treadmill, a certain protocol. and just see where we're starting from and take a whole sort of health history. And then let's set some clear, realistic goals. And then we design a program to show these people step by step how we're going to get there and assure them that it's going to be safe and effective and that they can really believe that this is going to work. And if you can do that, you can see some pretty amazing results. I mean, I've had several clients lose more than 100 pounds. And the stories they tell me, they just cry. I mean, I had a woman who went to Holland, and when she turned around to come back, she showed the person her passport photo, and they said, "That's not you. We're not letting you on the plane." Because she had lost over 100 pounds, she had to sit there for 30 minutes and show her all the IDs, and they finally let her come back. I had a woman who had these special, expensive designer boots, and she ended up losing so much weight that she took 6 inches off her ankles and had to get those boots retailored to fit her current body. And she was just so excited about that. So you got to get them knowing that if they follow this program, it will work, and giving them a couple examples like that usually helps.
Okay. And now the other thing that generally happens at that point is people they go into a thing called overwhelm. They think, "Oh my God, I haven't been doing this for 20 years. I got to do this. I got to change my diet. I got to do this." And they all of a sudden it's a huge task before them that seems overwhelming. How do you help them get through that? Because if they can't get through the overwhelm, they'll never get into action. So what do you do specifically to get someone to not get overwhelmed by all the things, losing 100 pounds or even 20 pounds or 30 pounds? It can be, a daunting task. So how do you help them, not get caught up in that?
Yeah, a couple of things. You want small, short-term goals. You can have your long-term goal of 100 pounds, but that's kind of like so far off that it's not really realistic. And if you set some shorter-term goals, you can feel a lot more connected with them. And then you just have small steps and incremental progress. And I tell people we're going to focus more on the process than the outcome. Like, you might want to lose 20 pounds, but that's an outcome. Let's focus on a process, which means let's focus on getting you in the gym 30 minutes, 3 times a week consistently. And let's get you to make some modifications to your diet. If I throw the whole program at them and tell them we're going to change these 30 different things about what you're doing right now, they're all going to fail. No one's going to change 30 things all at once. So we try to concentrate on just 1 or 2 of what I think are the most important things and change them. And once they get that habit locked in, then we move on to the next one.
Okay, I think that's an important point to make, is that it's getting the habit locked in. Like you said, let's say it's getting to the gym 3 times a week. Okay, once that's become a habit and that's just part of your day, like brushing your teeth, then you can add something else into that, and it's not so disruptive to them. And then they're basically they're basically changing their lifestyle habits, a little bit at a time, so that the end of the process, which could be 6 months, year, whatever it is, they've incorporated a lot of lifestyle changes. But again, it's one at a time. Now,
yeah, and it's a matter of even if they're going to have some resistance. Okay, maybe you don't want to go to the gym right now, but what if let's back it up. If you were going to go to the gym right now, what outfit would you wear? Can I at least get you to pick that out? And if they pick that out, well, once you pick it out, can you just try it on? Put it on. And once they do that, they're halfway to the gym already.
Okay, because what they were going to wear became an obstacle to them getting to the gym. Is that?
Yeah, it's taking smaller steps and keep regressing the difficulty of the thing until it meets their level of resistance.
What's the most challenging obstacle you've encountered with someone at the beginning of a training process, and how did you help them overcome that?
Well, I would bring up one case where people have adopted some type of dogma and it's not supported in science and they're not willing to change. I had one client who was not only vegetarian, he was vegan, and not only vegan, but he had to have food that was all raw. He would not even eat cooked food at all. And it was so difficult for him. He spent so much time and energy trying to maintain this, what he thought was this perfect diet. But when you do, I have him keep track on a food app of everything he ate and drank. And when we print out the pie charts, it's like, okay, you're eating 80% of your diet is carbohydrates. And I'm not going to say don't eat carbohydrates, but you don't eat 80%. And then you're only getting 7% maybe from protein and you're trying to lift weights. All you're going to do is destroy muscle and you're not going to be able to rebuild it because you don't have the protein and the amino acids to do it. So that's one big one. Another big one is, for lack of a better word, liars. So I get a lot of people that swear up and down, I don't know. I don't eat anything but salads and, lean meat. And I just keep getting fat, and which may not be a politically correct thing to say, but I usually try to shock them back into reality by saying, you never see any fat prisoners of war. You don't see anyone walking around. Everyone else is starving to death, and some guy patting his big old belly going, gosh, I'm glad I got a slow metabolism. And another thing I tell them is all this fat you've got that you're trying to get rid of, it didn't come from the air you breathe. It only comes from the food you eat and whatever you drink. And they've got to face that. And sometimes getting them to write down everything they eat or drink brings that home and makes it real in a way that maybe they didn't even know that. Maybe they weren't liars. Maybe they're just unaware. And when they start writing it down and weighing it and seeing how much it really is, I've had people tell me, you know what, I was going to have some ice cream last night, but I didn't want to have to write it down in my journal and have you read it, so I didn't. So it just helps them be a lot more accountable.
Okay, yeah, and again, a lot of people eat almost unconsciously. They grab a bag of chips, they start walking around, and before you know it, the whole bag's gone, and they haven't even thought about what they're eating. They're just eating. Right.
And a lot of times they're watching television and they're doing something else, so their mind's not even on what they're eating, so they're not even really enjoying it. And as far as the eating the whole bag, one thing I recommend is once you open that bag, read the ingredients and say one serving size is 12 almonds or 15 potato chips or whatever. Get a bunch of little baggies and put them all in there. Count them out. 15 potato chips, put it in a baggie. 15 potato chips, put it in another baggie. And then put them all back in the big bag. And then whenever you go to the bag, okay, this is one serving. That's all I'm taking. And if you go back, I'm on serving number 2. And it keeps you a little more responsible about not just taking down the whole bag and not even noticing it.
Okay, good point. I'm going to ask you a question because I know you train both men and women. Do you train them the same or do you train them differently?
Quite similar. I mean, men in general want to lift heavier weights and they want muscles, and women are sometimes afraid to bulk up, even though realistically that it's not going to happen. Women don't really have the hormone. It's really difficult for women to bulk up, even if they want to. They've got to go on a really tough diet and exercise program. But there's a little bit difference, I guess, also in how you approach them mentally and how you try to motivate them psychologically. And with the men, it's often more of the health issue, because they're the nose to the grindstone workers usually that see their buddy die of a heart attack, or maybe don't die but still have a heart attack. And with a lot of the women, they may have had a few kids and put on a few pounds, and they still want their partner to find them attractive. So that's how you kind of coach them for motivation there.
Okay, but you still do, you still do strength training. You still do, lift weights with women as well. Just similar to what you would do with a man, but obviously adapted to their weight.
We do it all. We do weights. We do body weight exercises. We use rubber bands. I mean, we still do cardio. So yeah, they've got to do both.
Okay.
Resistance training and cardio.
Now, one of the biggest excuses that people give for not working out or working out more often is, I don't have time. How do you address that with your clients?
Well, Phil, I used to argue with these people and say, you have time, you just have to make time. And then I started empathizing with them a little bit and understanding that a lot of my people really are super busy and they're just run ragged and they're trying to find time. A few recommendations I have with that is, if you can get it done early in the morning, then it's done. It's money in the bank. It's a workout no one can ever take back from you. If you put it off till later in the day, obstacles are going to come up and you're going to put off. But beyond that, I know that I need to make this workout very efficient so it doesn't waste a lot of time. There are people who go to the gym for a whole hour and don't get a whole lot done. Not that's going to help them very much. In fact, there's high intensity interval training. I mean, a guy named Tabata, a Japanese scientist, found that he could put people on a exercise bike, a little short warm up, 30 seconds, whatever, and then 20 seconds just as hard as you can go, 10 seconds to recover from that. 20 seconds just as hard as you can go, 10 seconds to recover. Do that 8 times, which only takes 4 minutes, and then a little cool down. And they were getting similar results, sometimes better, to people that were doing an hour on a treadmill that were just kind of moseying along. So I tell people also, you're going to make time for your health now or make time to be ill later. And the workouts don't have to take long. Just for your health. I mean, we're not training people that are trying out for the Olympics. If you're just trying to stay in good health, you can do a whole lot in about 30 minutes or so if you're doing it smart, and maybe 3-4 times a week. My typical workouts are maybe 45 minutes.
Okay, and that's, you have a little bit of a warm-up, you do your strength training, and usually you can get that done in 20-25 minutes. Then you can have your cardio, which could be your Tabata, and then you do a stretching and cool down, and you can get everything you need. You're just not spending a lot of time in between talking and waiting and things like that. Is that right?
Right. There's a system of training called peripheral heart action training. So, for example, it means, say we're working on an upper body pushing exercise. We're working chest, triceps, and anterior deltoids. So that would be like a push-up or a bench press or something. Well, those muscles at the end of that set, they're going to be tired. But my legs were just doing nothing. So I can do a set of squats or lunges or something like that. Well, now my pecs and my triceps are resting while that's going on. Well, meanwhile, all this time, my upper body pulling muscles, my biceps, my lats, my anterior deltoids have been doing nothing yet. So I can do an exercise for them, like a pull down or chin up or a lateral row. Well, by now, the chest and the triceps and the anterior deltoids have been resting for 3 whole exercises now. So they're ready to go again. And you just keep moving the stress around from one set of muscles to another, but the cardio is going the whole time. And it's much more efficient. So you don't have to sit there and wait and rest in between sets. You just instead of resting, you work a different set of muscles.
Okay, so it's about efficiency and effectiveness, and use your time wisely.
Exactly.
So now, 3 times a week. Again, one of the other common issues people have is I don't see results. So we're in the microwave, society where I want to see results right away. What are the types of results your people see, and how do you make sure that they see enough results to continue working with the program?
This is one where it depends so much on compliance, really. I mean, if you're doing everything I ask you to do, you're probably going to see results that you notice within a month. And usually I hear people tell me that other people are commenting within 60 to 90 days.
Okay.
But you're going to feel better within 2 or 3 weeks. And because what you're doing with exercise is not just about, how much weight did I lose, or did I go down a dress size yet or not, but you're going to feel better in all areas of life. You're going to be in a better mood. You're going to be better at work. You're going to be better with your family and your children. And it's almost like how you do anything in life affects everything else in life. So once you start exercising with this discipline, you're going to find that you're probably doing the dishes more. You're making your bed, you're being on time to meetings, and everything else that goes along with that. In fact, there have been some studies that I've read which they're kind of strange, but it will say, all we want you to do is for the next month, eat with your non-dominant hand. So if you're right-handed, eat with your left hand. For one thing, it's going to slow you down, which is good. But another thing, it's a consistent discipline that you keep doing, and you force yourself to have that discipline. Well, the people that did that started getting their homework done on time. They started working out more. They didn't leave their dirty dishes in the sink anymore. Same thing with simple things like, for the next month, always say yes instead of yup, or no instead of nope. And they carry across all other aspects of their life. So exercise does the same thing. You start exercising consistently, your whole life's going to get better.
Okay, and that's why it's considered the kind of the anti-aging drug, because the one thing that can keep you feeling and acting younger is exercise. Now, besides exercise, there's I want to talk a little bit about the role nutrition plays in your program. So how do you position nutrition with your clients?
I tell them it's huge. It's honestly, I'm a trainer, but I'm going to tell you it's even more important than working out. And one thing I often tell people is this is not my saying. I think I stole this from some other trainer. I don't remember who, but there's no way to outwork a bad diet. And you can go in the gym and you can work out for an hour and you can burn 500 calories. And once you go eat one Big Mac, you just flush that whole workout down the toilet right there. So with most Americans, I find if I can get them to avoid fried foods, sweets for sure, and then starchy carbs, things like rice, potatoes, bread, pasta, and then just have normal portion control on everything else, they're going to do just fine.
I had did an interview with a gentleman that lost 65 pounds in like 6 months. And the biggest things he did was he stopped drinking. He was drinking 2 Cokes every day, and he was having a half a loaf of fresh bread every morning. And then he replaced pasta with cauliflower. And
there you go.
And it was like, he said the weight just I wasn't focused because I was always satisfied. I wasn't hungry. I just stopped 2 really bad habits. And I, substituted because I love pasta. So I found a substitute, which was, cauliflower. And he said, all of a sudden the weight and then as the weight came off, I moved more. And as I moved more, I exercised more. It was just, like you said, it just started a whole cycle. But it wasn't like, oh my gosh, I got to stop everything. He just said, let me stop the things I know I shouldn't be doing, and then everything else started to fall into place.
Yeah, that's perfect. It's the people who do really well with diet in general are not the people who think, oh no, I can only eat sticks and twigs and cardboard from now on. It's the people who can find things that they actually enjoy, but are also healthy as well. Might be, low fat cottage cheese for one person, or, Greek yogurt for somebody else, or like cauliflower for this guy you were talking about. But if you are forcing yourself into what you see as an overly restrictive diet where you hate everything you eat, it's going to be really hard to stick with that.
Yeah, and that's because it is we get into a deprivation mindset, and they say, I only got 30 more days until my diet's over. Okay, well, my diet's over. I'm going to go celebrate. How do we celebrate? We go out and eat and drink. It's like, no, that's
no. Instead of diet, make it a lifestyle. So it's never really over.
Yeah, it just and that means that there's going to be days when you eat foods that you shouldn't. Oh well.
Yeah, you can have a cheat day or a planned, controlled splurge, and I tell people that all the time. If you are on your diet, 90% of the time, and then you decide you want a piece of chocolate cake on Saturday, you earned it. You enjoy it. Don't feel guilty about it. Eat it and enjoy it, and then get back on your 90% good diet.
Okay. Now a lot of people, think about hiring a personal trainer or working with a personal trainer, but their perceptions a lot of times are, what they've seen on TV with the Biggest Loser or things like that. So what are some of the biggest misconceptions people have about personal trainers when they come to you, and how do you help them overcome them?
Yeah, Phil, you said it. I mean, they think I'm going to try to kill them because they've seen shows like The Biggest Loser, or they've seen some trainer at the gym yelling at someone that, more is always better and push yourself harder and harder and harder. And for me, that really doesn't take any skill at all. I mean, I can take any Olympic decathlete, doesn't matter. Within half an hour, I can have them, broken, if that's my goal. But that's a pretty stupid goal. So it's not about how much can I make this person do. It's about how much should this person do right now. And hopefully I'll get them to do a better workout with me there, helping them, than they would if they were just kind of going through the motions by themselves. But it's just lunacy for me to take someone who's, 300 pounds and never worked out in their life and, put a sandbag on their back and make them run 3 miles down the beach. That's a terrible workout for that person at that point in their life. So not the most workout, we're looking for the best workout for this person.
And then the other thing that is, how long will they sustain it? So yeah, I can endure almost anything for a workout, but a workout shouldn't be something you endure. It should be something you kind of look forward to. And so, even though it's hard work, you want people saying, hey, I want to come back. I can't wait to get to that next workout. Or as opposed, boy, I never want to do that again. And, you
want to try to make it fun if you can. I've had people out there, would find some side street out in the suburbs and I'll sit in my car and they'll push my car and they just get pumped up out of that. They think this is the funnest thing I ever did, but it's good hard work for a lot of muscles, but it's not like I'm saying, go faster, push me farther and farther. It's like, we'll do this for a reasonable amount of time for you today.
Okay. And it's probably the novelty of it. And I say, wow, I never knew I could do that. That's probably a good sense of accomplishment, which is something that, when people start getting that, I can lift more, I can do more, I can finally do a push-up or a pull-up, or I can do a plank for a minute. All those little things that are, oh, wow, I can do that. And then they say, well, now I want to do more. And that's the mindset that, that's the sustainable mindset is, what else can I do, as opposed to I've had enough.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, with your experience, the years of experience, and if there was one piece of advice you'd give someone someone that's in their 40s or 50s that's listening and thinking about starting a fitness program, what a piece of advice would you give them that would help them on their journey to a better, healthier, longer life?
Health and fitness is all about forming healthy habits. So the biggest thing I've learned as far as actually helping people, I can design a great workout program for someone and put them on a healthy eating program as well. But if I can't get them to follow it, it's doing no good. So I had to kind of back up and say, what's going wrong here? And make a real concerted study of the psychology of behavior change. So we talked before about not trying to change everything at once, trying to change just one or two things. And I want to make the things that we're changing easy. In other words, it's almost impossible to fail. I was reading a book about one guy who decided he wanted to do 100 push-ups nonstop. Well, he set a goal of, I'm going to do one push-up every day. Even if it's the last thing I do when I get into bed, I roll over on my stomach, do one push-up, and then I'm done. I did it. Well, he found in practice, he almost never, if he got down to do push-ups, he wasn't going to do one. Just getting down there on the floor in the first place, he would probably knock out a set of 20 or 30. And then later that became 40 or 50, and it just grew. So I encourage people to do the same thing. Dr. John Berardi, he's a very famous nutritionist, and he's got a list of 30 things that he wants all of his clients to do. But like I said, he's not going to shove all 30 of them and say, start doing these right now. He's going to take one and say, okay, I want you to drink, 6 to 8 glasses of water every day. Can you do it? And he's going to wait until he gets to at least 90%. Yeah, I can do that. Even if they said, no, I can't do that. Okay, can you drink 4 glasses of water a day? Can you drink 1 glass of water? Well, at some point it gets ridiculous. Of course I could drink 1 glass of water a day. Well, if that's where it has to be where we start, that's where we start. And then we get to 2, and then we get to 3. And then we get to the whole 6 to 8. The next thing might be, I want you to take 2 fish oil pills a day. Can you do that? Well, by this point, you've probably developed at this point, yeah, I think I can do that, at least 90%. And then you move on to the next one, and you keep locking in one small habit after another until you've kind of stacked these habits on top of each other till you've got a whole bunch of habits to create a whole different lifestyle than what you've been doing.
And so that you've basically replaced the bad with the good, but it's done over time so people don't feel the whiplash effect of all the things you're trying to do. And just like, oh, this is the new normal. And that's really what
Right.
You're trying to do is the new normal that you can sustain for, if you're talking about someone that's 40 or 50, they've got 30 to 40 years that they're probably going to live. And the question is going to be, are they going to be doing it, doing all the things they want to be doing and being active, or are they going to be, in a wheelchair, for 20, 30 years?
Well, I've worked with a lot of older people, even up to their 90s. And, the younger people who are in their still 40s and 50s, I tell them, if you're lucky, you're going to get to be old one day. And if you're not careful about what you're doing right now, when you get to be old, you're going to be the one that's all hunched over and using a walker and always in pain. But if you address these health issues right now, when you get older, you'll still be walking nice and straight and taking care of yourself and still driving around and not ending up in a nursing home.
So it's like, you don't like to start that, but that is kind of the reality when people finally get, again, when you get that 40, 50, it's like, okay, what is my life expectancy? And there is a certain, as one guy said, I'm kind of playing the back nine. And how are you going to play that back nine? Is it going to be, are you going to endure it, or are you going to enjoy it? So,
yeah.
So I guess
another thing that I read, some medical doctor, forget where, He said one thing you'll never see is a 90-year-old obese person in the morgue, because they don't live that long. If you're going to be obese, you're not going to make it to 90.
That's right. Yeah. But the good thing is that, like I say, it's never too late for fitness. You can start, any age. I know people in their 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s that have lost the weight, that have gotten shape, they found a person like you that will guide them, take them where they are, and help them build the habits that they can sustain so that they can enjoy their lives. And so, it is possible. But it does take effort. It does take someone to help guide you. So if Clint, if people want to, connect with you or learn more about what you do, where would you suggest they go?
They could go to my website, which is personalpeakfitness.com. Personalpeakfitness.com. And then they get that and get some information about you and about your programs and what you offer. Well, Clint, I want to thank you so much for sharing your expertise, giving us the little tidbits and insights into the reality of what it's like to transform a body. It's not always glamorous. It's those, day-to-day kinds of habits that you instill that make a big difference over a period of time. So again, thank you very much for sharing your insights on our show today. Well, Phil, I really enjoyed it. Thanks for having me.
All right. Have a great day.
You too. Thanks.
You've been listening to Never Too Late for Fitness Radio, hosted by Phil Ferris. To learn more about the guests or resources on our show today, or to listen to past episodes, go to nevertoolateforfitness.com.